everyone! In these days of smartphones, a lot of us struggle with screen addiction. If you're anything like me, perhaps you're trying to break the screen addiction and it's really hard. So here are 7 tips that I use to break my screen addiction, and at the end I'll have a special bonus tip for if your smartphone addiction is seriously out of control. So tip number 1 is to turn your notifications off. Lots of apps like Instagram and Pinterest and Facebook love to send you notifications to bring you back to use their app again. Their goal is to keep you on their app. That is where they make their money, having you staring at their app. So they're not actually interested in letting you know, like, oh, this is actually important. They're interested in getting your eyes back on their app. Pinterest sends notifications even just to say, hey, there's a pin you might like. It's not even anything to do with you. They're just literally advertising at you. And there are other apps that like send me notifications to tell me, oh, there's a sale, you can buy stuff from us. That's just an ad. I had a game on my phone which would send me a notification if I hadn't played it in a few days saying, come back, we miss you. Like, how manipulative is that? You can go check those apps at a specific time of day when it's on your time. You don't need an app to tell you when you should check your phone. And it's such a distraction because when you check your phone to see if you have any messages or missed calls and you're bombarded with all this extra information, it's such a time suck. You get lost in this vortex of things that you feel like you have to check, like somehow these are to-do items. They're really not. Unless it is an individual trying to contact you, you don't need that notification. My second tip is to clear your home screen of your icons. If you long hold an icon, you'll be able to swipe it up to remove. You don't have to uninstall it, although you can if you want to be extra especially good, but just remove it from your home screen so that if you have to go to your phone for some reason, you're not getting distracted by all these other icons like Instagram and other things that are like triggers for you to get lost in this vortex of screen use. Yes, it means that when you do need to use an app, you have to go through scrolling all your app list, which is a bit tedious, but being tedious is a good thing because it means it's more effort, which means you're less likely to do it without thinking or without necessity. Tip number 3 is to make your screen background your reason why. I have made my background of my phone a picture that, when I do pick up my phone, reminds me why I don't want to do it. So perhaps you have specific reasons why you want to break your smartphone addiction. You can write them down in like a notepad application and take a screenshot of it and make that your background. Or perhaps there's a photo that will remind you of your why. Like even just a photo in Google search that represents to you your why. Make that your background so that every time you do pick up your phone, it's right there to remind you why you don't want to do this. Tip number 4 is making your phone screen grayscale. Now, to do this on Android phones is very simple. You can add the grayscale button straight into your drop-down tray. If you pull the drop tray fully down, you'll see at the bottom like a little pencil icon. If you click that, that's edit. So you'll be able to edit the icons in your pull-down tray. Just scroll down until you find the grayscale icon, and then you can pop it over into your drop-down tray. This means that anytime you want to turn grayscale on or off, all you have to do is pull down that little tray and tap the icon. The phone is still functioning in color, by the way, so your screenshots will save in color and the photos you take will save in color. It's just that it's not displaying color on the screen. I keep my phone in grayscale pretty much all of the time. I only turn it off if I have a specific reason why I need my phone to be in color, like perhaps I want to show someone a photo. Yeah, that's pretty much it. For the rest, keep it in grayscale. It's really helpful for like not distracting your eyes with the bright, colorful eye candy, which is there to attract your attention. Turn it off and suddenly your phone screen is much less attractive. Tip number 5 is to set timers for apps that are a time suck for you. You might want to set this for social media or for games. Any app that is a time vortex or keeps your eyes on your screen for longer than it needs to, longer than you want it to, you need to set a timer for that. Unless you can delete the app entirely from your phone, just uninstall it, because that's also going to fix it. In Android, you can do this by going into the well-being settings. Just go to the dashboard and use the hourglass icons to set times for individual apps. You can always go in and change this if for some reason you need extra time on that app for a legitimate purpose. But on the whole, it'll shut it down for you. That timer will come up and tell you that you've reached your limit for that app for that day, and come back again tomorrow to use it some more. Of course, the fact that you can undo these timers if you need to means that it's not fail-safe. If you're like into a game and you're really addicted, like you can just go in the back way and turn the timers off, but it is a lot more work and you have to be a lot more intentional about breaking your own rules. Tip number 6 is replacing peak screen time with rituals. So if there are times of your day when you're most likely to get lost in your phone, perhaps first thing when you wake up in the morning, if you just check your emails and then get lost in them, or in the evening perhaps when it's dark, there's nothing you really need to be doing, and so you just quickly check Instagram or something, and the next thing you know, you're like well late for bed. Replace these times when you're most susceptible to phone use with other things. Perhaps in the morning, your morning ritual could be that when your alarm goes off, you get out of bed and make yourself a cup of tea. Like you can specifically go out and buy a nice tea that you're like excited to drink and make a nice morning ritual out of brewing your tea, and perhaps doing some meditation or journaling, planning your day. Like make it a really sacred space for you, so that it's not like you're giving up your phone time, oh what a sacrifice, but rather like you've replaced it with something really actually nourishing. And the same for in the evening. If you're a person who gets lost on your phone in the evening, create a nice evening ritual. So perhaps like have a hot shower and then turn on like some low lighting, some lamps or some candles and some calming music, and then you can like journal or review your day, or do some stretching, maybe some reading. Perhaps you could even listen to an audiobook while straightening up your room. Something fun that doesn't involve screen time. Tip number 7 is to plug your phone in away from your bed. Preferably in another room if you can, but at least somewhere where you can't reach it from your bed. This will stop you from waking up in the morning and picking it up and looking at it first thing, or using it right until the moment you turn off the light at night. If you use your phone as your alarm clock, well, buy a normal digital alarm clock. They do still sell those. I got mine from JB Hi-Fi, and it even has a spot where you can put batteries in the back to make sure that if there's a power outage, the clock keeps the time, so when the power comes back on, it's not flashing zeros, it is still the correct time and your alarm will still go off. And if you want your phone to be a backup alarm system, then use it as a backup alarm system so that if you're really not out of bed in time, it will pull you out of bed. So what I sometimes do is I'll set my phone alarm for like 5 minutes before I have to go. So if I do miss my main alarm, I will still wake up with just enough time to scream out the door. And I set my phone alarm so close to leaving time so that I do not fall down the sinkhole of screen time. Like once that alarm goes off and I have to look at my phone to turn it off, like I do not have time to waste. In fact, if you do keep using your phone as your alarm clock, having it far away where you can't reach is also like a good thing. It'll make you actually get out of bed. So there is no reason to have your phone right next to your bed, none. If you really try all these tips, if you implement all of them and your phone addiction is still running rife, then there's one more thing you can do. Get rid of your smartphone. Buy a old-fashioned phone. I did this, I bought a Nokia flip phone earlier this year. It has made a humongous difference, because now when I have that little nudge in my head to say, oh, you better check your phone, I check this flip phone. Oh look, there are no messages, there's no missed calls. Well, I guess that's done, and I put it back down. It's not like, oh, I just checked my phone, oh, there's no messages, but there are a billion notifications from all these apps. Oh look, I have an email, maybe I've got an Instagram message. Like, you don't get lost when you feel that urge to check your phone. You just check your phone and then you put it back down. In fact, a lot of the urges that I used to get to check my phone, like I would have just checked my phone, put it down, I'd get another urge to check my phone. Implementing all these tips has really made a humongous difference for how often my brain triggers for me to check my phone. Like, it's not just a consistent loop anymore of check your phone. Oh, maybe I should check my phone. Oh, I wonder if there's anything on my phone. I better just check my phone. It's broken that cycle. I have actually still kept my smartphone, but I use it more as an iPod now. It's not connected to a SIM card. I've implemented all these tips, and really, I am just using it as a listening device now. It's not in any way functioning to trigger me in the same way that it used to. I'm no longer addicted to my phone. It's official. Since implementing all these tips and getting myself a non-smartphone, I'm on my phone so much less, like so much less. The difference is humongous. I thought cutting back my phone use was going well before, when it dropped down from like 5 hours a day till 2 hours a day. Wow. But now it's like half an hour a day maybe, and that's mainly from turning on my phone just to like put on an audiobook and the screen staying lit up for a while. It's not actually me looking at it for half an hour a day. But once you break your screen addiction, you really see more clearly what you were, and it's quite scary. So try out these tips and tricks if you are struggling with your smartphone addiction, and let me know in the comments whether they've worked for you, and if you have any other tips and tricks that you use. I would love to hear from you, because screen addiction is a real thing for a lot of us, and I don't think screens are going away anytime soon. So the more information we have of how to be in control of our screens instead of letting them be in control of us, the better. Please consider subscribing to my channel, and if you found this video helpful, please like this video. It really helps me out and I appreciate it so much. Until the next one, bye!